Hey, this is Lou Mangello from WDW Radio, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Let's do this.
The tendencies we continue all the way to episode 318 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast, and here's hoping that this week's episode isn't nearly as long as last week's. Hopefully you finished listening to last.
Yeah, I was like, maybe some of you are still trying to get through last week's.
Yes.
Welcome,
like,
everyone.
what do you think you are, the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, really. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us in case you're just finishing last week's episode. So glad you stuck around. Let's start off like we do every week. We'll go on the virtual table and see who has joined us this week.
This is Brittany and Troy.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, it was kind of funny that we did that when the Snyder Cut got released. People are a lot like, people posting on social media is like, I'm still watching the Snyder Cut. I've been here for 12 years.
Well, take a break from that and listen to our, what was it, 3-hour-long WandaVision recap?
3 hours and like 45 minutes.
Oh, almost. So yeah, almost 4 hours.
Yeah, it is the longest show we have ever
Is that longer than the Snyder Cut? I haven't seen it.
No, the Snyder Cut's like 6 hours.
Well, it's. I heard 4 hours, but close to, yeah. So we were close.
Yeah. I heard 4.
So if you can sit through the Snyder Cut, you can sit through last week's podcast. Yeah. I guess.
I would like to think that our show was more entertaining than the Snyder Cut, but that's just us. So that's just me.
I cannot speak to either one.
We were talking Marvel in the Snyder Cut's DC. That automatically makes it better. In my book.
I agree. Nothing against DC, but definitely more Marvel than DC.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but
I haven't seen the original version of Justice League yet, so
I heard it was an awful train wreck, and I didn't even bother.
Yeah, I only watched the bits that had Wonder Woman in it.
It's kind of what I'm thinking about. Like, if I would go watch, I'm like, I'll just watch.
And I got the gist of it, even in the bits where she's in it and other people are in it too. So I'm like, I get it. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it's fun to watch people on YouTube talk about it. That's my that's my entertainment.
Yeah. Oh my. Well, on that note,
I was trying to stall because I don't want to talk about the news.
Yeah. Just the news.
This one,
the 10 o'clock news.
The 10 o'clock news. This one is, I mean, I don't know what your guys' childhood reading habits were, but I
don't think I've ever read any of her books.
Oh, you need to.
You need to.
And
it is the most sweet and wholesome and just happy thing. What we're talking about is the death of author Beverly Cleary, who passed away on Friday. I was actually at work at the library and she was 104, which is amazing that she lived that long. And and I was just sitting there when I got the news. It actually came through work email because we keep tabs on authors, what they're doing, if any of them pass away, so we can be prepared for when people want to dive in and pick up their books to read. But she is, bar none, probably the author that she's probably ultimately the reason why I'm a librarian, because I mean I read when I was little. I read a lot. And then I was in second grade. What we had in the classroom, it was just too easy for me, and what we had at home was too easy for me. And my teacher was like, you need to get her something, telling my mom, you need to get her something that'll actually challenge her. When you're in second grade, you don't really read, you're kind of, depending on where you are, you don't really read big chapter books, or that's typically, I'm saying generally speaking, that's not really where your level is. So my mom took me to the little small town I lived in. We had a bookmobile library, which is basically where the bookmobile stored books when it was, when when they aren't on the bookmobile. And it was in the basement of the fire department in our town. And we went, and she's like, "Oh, Beverly Cleary, you will love these. Read them." And we checked out Mitch and Amy and Emily's Runaway Imagination. And I'm pretty sure I read Mitch and Amy first. And that was, advanced for a second grader. And I loved it. And I read all the Ramona stuff. And she wrote Mouse on the Motorcycle. That was a big one that was like on Saturday morning, after Saturday morning cartoons. There was a TV adaptation. She wrote the book, and there's 3 books in the series. And Henry Huggins and and Ellen
Dear
Tebbets.
Mr. Crenshaw.
Yes. Dear Mr. Henshaw was her Newbery winner, and some of the Ramona books were Newbery honor books. And it's about growing those kids. It's about growing up. Like Ramona is, she's the little sister. She's got the older sister, and they're the first few books, like she goes to kindergarten, and I always remember that there's a girl in her class that has boing boing curls, because when my hair started going curly, I was like, I got boing boing curls. And because there's a scene in one of the books where Ramona's like, she wants to pull it because she wants to see if they'll like boing like in cartoons. And she pulls the girl's hair eventually and gets in trouble. And she's like, but I just wanted to see it go boing, and nobody gets it. So there's it's like really silly, fun little things like that. And then later in a later book, Ramona and her father loses his job, and it's really hard on the family. So it's like, yeah, there are these nice, fluffy growing up stories. And then it also tackles some more difficult stuff, like changes in your family, what happens when your parent loses a job, he starts smoking, and Ramona tries to get him to quit, and all these things. So when they talk about kids literature, we need to have all these tough topics so kids can understand and know what's going on, or how they how to sort through their feelings. Beverly Cleary, she did it like, oh gosh, 50 years ago. She was doing that stuff with Ramona, with these sweet little books that you think, oh, isn't that nice? And it's in a way that kids understand, and it doesn't talk down to them, and it doesn't scare them. And I remember reading those and just like, I got it. I understood it, and I loved it. And yeah, she was her books were the first chapter books I ever read. I mean, and then I found out later that she was a librarian at one point, but she wanted to write books that kids, because there were a lot of kids who were like, well, I don't have a book that's about me, or a book that was about my life. And she's like, well, that's what I will write. And her philosophy was, you write what you want to see. If there's a book that you want to read that you can't find, you write it yourself. So that's what she did. And millions of kids learn to read and learn about life from what she wrote.
And 2, they were exposed to her books because PBS, I remember, did a Beezus and Ramona live action series.
Oh, I knew there was
I remember watching those.
Okay.
I know there was a movie.
I had read the books
remember
first, and then I had seen the.
I know they.
You might have to see if they're on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I knew they had done a theatrical movie with Selena Gomez some years ago. I never saw it because I was just like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that to Ramona. But I didn't know that there was. Let's see.
I remember a couple of Christmases ago, my sister's boyfriend's daughter got like a bunch of the Ramona books for Christmas, and my sister and I were like freaking out, like, "Oh my goodness, we love those books when we were kids." The new generation.
The old ones. I see, like, there's this one, Mystery Meal, Squeaker Foot. It's Ramona 1988. They're on YouTube. Those older ones.
Good.
A few of them. Not. I don't see too many, but I only see. Oh, this playlist has 10 in there. I don't even have Klickitat Street. I love it. That's the street, and I always love that word, Klickitat. That was the name of the street that they lived on.
That was the actual street.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So
that makes sense, right? I didn't see it. It was on PBS before I was born.
I never knew that this was a thing, but they were on when I was 3, so I was like, yeah. But if you haven't read any Beverly Cleary, or if it's been a while since you've read some, go to your local library, or even order them on Amazon. Because I'm sitting here going like, all the books I read, my mom has them, and I guess they were kind of all of ours. So I'm like, I should just get my own. So that's my new wish list thing. Is I put all the Beverly Cleary books on. Then I went to Walmart the other day and I found Beezus and Ramona the Pest.
Oh, nice.
Ramona the Pest was the first Ramona book I read. I was like, oh, I'm so happy to find that one. So anyway, Beverly Cleary, rest in peace. Thank you for our literary childhoods, because holy cow, what would we have done without you? And 104.
Apparently I missed out.
No, you didn't. You can start out. You can start now.
Oh, I know. I was just saying I don't have the childhood fondest memories. I didn't own a lot of books when I was a kid. The only books I remember reading as a kid was the Babysitter's Club. So
those were good too. I read those. After I cleared out Ramona stuff, I was like, oh, Babysitter's Club, what's this about? Because they were at the Bookmobile Library too. There weren't a lot of books there, but what they did have was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm like
104. That's goals.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. And and just as a heads up, on her birthday is April 12th, and that is known as Dear Day, which stands for Drop Everything and Read. So
cool.
I'm already planning. I'm going to do something at the library for that. Although we already put up a little display.
I saw that. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because we got the news. It was like the end of the day on Friday when we were about to close up, and what the other children's librarian is like, I made this sign. We need to put up a little display. I'm like, yes, we do. And so we were like, going around finding all our books and putting them up on the little pop-up display by the circ desk. I'm like,
that was sweet.
Yes. And the funny thing is, this year, one of the Beehive Award nominees is actually a picture book that's a biography of her.
Oh, so nice.
So, I was like, oh. Yeah. But, okay, I'm going to have to check out this Ramona show later. I did miss that one, but
if there's a playlist or something, we can put a link to it in the show notes.
Yeah,
this was just the right age, because I was about like 9 or 10, so it just hello.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, here's the playlist. I'll put it in our thing, and we'll link to it in the show notes. So there it is.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on to other news. Well, speaking of the DC universe, we got a new trailer for Suicide Squad.
Oh, we did?
Yes.
I didn't even know it wasn't on my radar.
Looking at it, I saw bits of it, and there's like Idris Elba's in it and Peter Capaldi's in it, and I'm like, do you guys owe somebody money?
Yeah.
Like, you're in the wrong.
It looks. Yeah, I saw the first Suicide Squad movie. I've seen all the stuff that Harley Quinn is in. So I saw Birds of Prey too. So yeah, I liked the first Suicide Squad movie for all its downfalls, because it was like, yay, some characters with really funky personalities, and there's color and all sorts of things. It's not Batman versus Superman and all the darkness that we've come to expect from the DC universe. So this,
and Will Smith playing a little bit of a different role.
Yeah, which he's not in this one at all. But I mean, it's not a remake. It seems to be kind of picking up kind of where the last one left off, I think, maybe. And it may be picking up after Birds of Prey 2, where Harley Quinn is like, forget the Joker, I'm going to go do my thing. But there's still, like, the concept of the Suicide Squad is still, like, intact, where they're all criminals, and therefore if they go do these gigs, these missions on behalf of whoever, the government, some shady organization, whatever, and they survive, then time gets shaved off of their sentence. But there's safe guards in place that if they decide to screw this, I'm going to make a run for it. There's safeguards in place. If you've not seen the first one, I won't spoil it. Although it gets mentioned in this trailer. So if you watch the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of I think it is going to be some more of a soft reboot / sequel-esque to the first one. But you could definitely tell that this is James Gunn doing it, because it's kind of Guardians of the Galaxy, but for the DC universe. It's just got James Gunn's fingerprints all over it, which makes me excited for it. So, because I think he's a great director. So it'll be, I'm excited to see it and what he's done with it. And, like I said, I like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and seeing Peter Capaldi in this, just, he looks so weird. So, I think it should be fun. But I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and, I dog on the DC universe because some of it's crap in my opinion, but not all of it.
It's very hit and miss. You can tell that they're trying to play catch up with Marvel, and it's painfully obvious that's what's happening. Although there are some gems like Wonder Woman and Shazam. Shazam was great.
Yes,
yeah. But it's Zachary Levi, so how can you not love it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but you can go watch the trailer if you want. It's a Red Band trailer. Just be aware, it's not suitable for all audiences. So pay attention to who may be around you when you're watching it. So
it's gonna be rated R when it comes out.
Oh yes.
Oh, most definitely, almost certainly.
Yeah, they're violent. They're very violent.
Yeah. Which the sad thing is, I can't remember if it was Arrow or Flash. Probably Arrow. They actually were going to set up a Suicide Squad in their show.
Yeah.
And then then the movie got greenlit, so they had to put the kibosh on that. So.
I think I remember them dealing a little bit with Suicide Squad in the show. So I remember seeing when I watched some of what I've seen of Suicide Squad. I haven't seen the full movie yet, but I recognize that name from Arrow.
So going from DC to Marvel in the MCU, again, hopefully you've been writing stuff in your calendars and pencil, kids, because once again, Black Widow has moved.
I feel so bad.
Yeah.
It moved.
Yeah.
It should have it should have been twice already? It should have been.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah. Because it was supposed to come out last May or June.
Oh, right.
And then it got moved to August, and then to fall.
Yeah.
And then postponed indefinitely. Then it was this May, right?
No, it was supposed to be March.
March.
And then it went to May-ish. Thereabouts. And now she is supposed to be released on July 9th.
Oh, good grief.
Yes. But she is now getting a simultaneous release on both theaters and Disney Plus.
That I kind of figured that was going to be the case, because it was after Wonder Woman did it, and what was the other one? There was some others. There was a bunch of other ones. I guess Soul. Yeah. But that's a Pixar one, so it's a little different. But
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yeah.
Right.
Mulan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like they were just trying to hold on to a Black Widow. It's like maybe no. Yeah. Not happening.
Yeah.
And
it's the first MCU movie in what, 2 years?
Close to it.
Yeah. What was the last
when
one?
it comes out? It's gonna be 2 years because the last one was Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man Far From
19.
Home.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, like when it comes out, it'll be 2 years since we've had a MCU movie.
Yep. Yeah. So, but I think this date is going to stick.
Well, when they finally say,
Thanks.
okay, it's Disney Plus, it's getting the Disney Plus release. I think they're gonna.
Yeah, I am going to see it in the theater because I am a purist like that when it comes to the MCU.
Yes,
but that is me.
I'm 50-50. Depending on how things are, where I'm at, where I'm living, I'll have my second dose.
Yeah,
but
I'm getting my first Fauci ouchie on Friday as we're recording this. So
yeah.
So I
should be fully vaccinated well in time for that.
Me too.
My problem is where I live is none of like the big ones are near me, and all the little ones are
closed.
Yeah, they're closed.
Yeah,
and
the
I don't know
smaller
if they're gonna
theaters
be
have not
opening.
survived. So
Yeah, there's a lot.
You really need a big chain, and even then, not even the big chains. Not all of them have survived because, like, I've got both an AMC and I can't think of the other.
Was it Regal?
Regal, yeah, and the Regal one Regal's just gone under, so the Regal one never be opened. The AMC thankfully has. So, and they're still doing, $5 Tuesdays, which is nice.
Yeah. I haven't heard what our local, it's a local chain, quote unquote. It's the Megaplex, but it's kind of a big one. I think they're still kicking, but I haven't been to it since. And
well, the nice thing is if you're at a large enough city with one of those bigger chains, is you probably have access to things like online ticket ordering, and it shows you they can put in the social distancing in the app. So this theater is this many rows and this many seats. These rows cannot be sold at all.
Yeah. That's what our Megaplex does. They you pick a seat and okay, this is all blocked off around you.
Yeah.
But
which is nice. So so July 9th is when Black Widow is now supposed to be released, which is actually PopCon weekend. So not the first time that there'll be a new Marvel movie released PopCon weekend. We had the first Spider-Man PopCon weekend. So that is fine with me. Yep. And then that means that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has been moved to September 3rd, which is Labor Day weekend. So
the magical musical chairs.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they have all the dates.
Yeah.
Set aside, so they're just like,
Marvel's got those blocked out for the next 5 years. It's just a matter of taking each movie and just moving it over to the next spot.
What goes in which spot?
Yeah. So
did they say why it was moved? Is it specifically because they're doing the simulcast with Disney Plus, or was there another reason?
I think it's just caution.
Yeah,
because it was supposed to be May, which now that we're now April is 3 days from now as we're recording this. So even though several states, every state seems to be going at a different pace as far as vaccines and opening and stuff. So I think they're just pushing it to where it's more likely that most of the majority of people that want to get vaccinated will have been vaccinated. And
but here, I could get it, or I could get in line for an appointment, but there's been such a rush that I'm going to wait until the rush kind of fades away. Jared needs to get it before I do, quite honestly. So I'm like, okay, people, go get it, and then
Yeah.
I will wait until
the people
that
the
stampede
really
is
really
over.
need it. Please go ahead of me. I can wait. Yeah.
That's kind of where I am right now. And
Yeah. That's the way I've been too, even though I technically could have, since I do work in education, technically I could have gotten it ages ago. But I just waited because I just, it's like, let the people that really, really need it, with medical conditions and older age ranges and stuff get theirs. But now Indiana is actually, it's going to be open to everybody 16 and up starting Wednesday. So
that's what ours is. But they've said, oh, you can already get in appointments and stuff.
Yep.
And I actually have a coworker who she's going to have a baby next month, and she's like, I want to get it before I go in to have my baby. And I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting like for people like you because I'm fine.
Yeah.
I will be okay until I can get it. So
you and the baby take top priority.
Yes.
Yes. So I think technically I'm not eligible. Like, I think Pennsylvania right now is still like at risk type.
Yeah. And I think that's why Disney has, and not just Disney. I mean, we're obviously focusing specifically on Disney and the MCU because that's one of our tentpole fandoms, and we like to keep tabs on what's going on. But it's they're not unique in this situation. There are lots of other movies that have been moved and moved and moved, and stuff has been shifted around from other studios.
But it also feels like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
This time last year we're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And now we're like, okay, there's there's some we're gonna start to see stuff happening. And I mean, it's too late for some places and some things, which it really makes me sick that that's what's happened. But I mean, what do you do?
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's like, just hold on just a little longer, Natasha. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meanwhile, at the gym, they've got TV set up and they're on predetermined channels, but apparently TNT, the last couple days they've been playing Infinity War and Endgame back to back.
Yeah, I have Endgame on mute right now as we speak.
Yeah, so I was catching the end. I say end.
Ooh.
It's it's 3 hours long of Infinity War. So I was doing my exercise on the treadmill, do my own thing on my phone, which helps keep me from watching the counter on the machine going, am I done yet? But every time, every now and then I'd look up and I'd be like,
yeah.
As
Thanos'
army comes bailing into Wakanda, and I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna end well.
No. Well, and you know what? And I just talking about lengths of movies, it's like they kind of earned that 3 hours.
Well,
yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's just like, let's play these on TV just to remind people. It's like, these were a thing. You remember?
Yes. Movie theaters, going outside and going outside to do fun things and not having to muzzle yourself. Yeah.
So
that happened not that long ago, even.
Yeah. So
anyway.
I will once again adjust my calendar accordingly in pencil.
Right.
Yeah. So meanwhile, also in the House of Mouse, no need to write anything in the calendar quite yet because we don't have dates, but we did get an announcement with the full cast list for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that will be coming to Disney Plus.
Can I just say it's about blinking time we got this?
I know. They've teased and trolled.
Well, Ewan
for
McGregor
how
has
long?
not been any help posting pictures of him getting back in Jedi mode.
No,
Right.
he hasn't. Hence the trolling.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about like since Disney bought Star Wars, I'm like, Obi-Wan movie or thing,
That
please.
too.
Come on.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. So
I think I've been wanting something strictly Obi-Wan since like
the prequels.
The prequels, yes, like
yes,
yes.
Ewan McGregor, yes, you. Can we have more of you, please? Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
We they've given us a nice image with headshots. No idea who any of these people are playing other than the two obvious ones, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Yes,
Everyone else, no idea. I don't care.
Which the announcement specifically says Hayden Christensen is playing Darth Vader, not Anakin. Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
I kind of like that. I do like that touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are supposed to start filming next month. And it is actually being directed by Deborah Chow, who directed a couple episodes of The Mandalorian.
Nice.
And they are actually going to be using a lot of the same technology that they have used for The Mandalorian, like the set with the projection for backgrounds and stuff. So,
which is
they should. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
we know it works. Star Wars, yes, please.
Yes. So, you don't have to pick up your entire cast and crew and head out to Tunisia to do this. You just do it in an air conditioned set.
You don't have to worry about sandstorms and excessive heat warnings.
Yes.
Very much so. But yeah, that is really good to hear that Obi-Wan is fully cast and on schedule to start filming, and they've got some good people in charge. So
yes, I'm excited to find out I watch anything with Obi-Wan, but I'm excited to see what the story's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, since the beginning, I love Yoda and Obi-Wan are my. I can't tell you who my favorite characters, which one my favorite is in Star Wars, but it's one of those two.
Yeah.
And then Han Solo is a third, not too distant.
I think for me, Obi-Wan is just a little bit higher than Yoda for me, but
it changes depending on my mood.
Yeah.
But I would say it depends on who's on scene.
Or that too.
Yeah. So
I'm walking my way through Clone Wars right now, so I'm like, yay! And I love Obi-Wan in Clone Wars.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes.
So good times. All right. Well, that is it for the news. So we will go on to feedback. So we got some feedback from Shalane all about WandaVision. And in fact, her subject line for her email was, "It was Agatha all along."
Thank you for the earworm again, Shalane.
Yes. So Shalane says she too loved WandaVision. Yeah, as we all did. And she too loves sitcoms like Full House and Boy Meets World and Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Family Matters, and I Love Lucy. So
all good choices.
Yes. She mentions that we're talking about Wanda's and Quicksilver, because we got Fietro, but our OG proper Quicksilver, Aaron Taylor Johnson, he and Elizabeth Olsen were actually in a movie together before they did Age of Ultron. They were in the 2014 Godzilla, where they played a husband and wife, apparently.
Oh my.
Interesting. Awkward.
Yeah. Well, when you're an actor.
That is true. There has been multiple times where they would play one siblings and then maybe marry the next time.
Yeah. She also says she loved the opening intros and the music to WandaVision, and she pointed out something that I did not connect, but yes, both WandaVision and the final seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had retro openings. to them.
That they did.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I can remember that.
Yeah.
Because we all went bonkers for the 80s Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally forgot about that, but yes, that's I love that.
Yeah.
Good job, Marvel.
Now I'm going to have to go back and rewatch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Oh, darn.
Man.
Yeah.
FYI, Disney Plus, please put on streaming.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's like, why isn't
I don't know if is it still on Netflix? Because
that's like the only thing I can think of is like if it's on
because it was on
Netflix.
Hulu, but Disney owns Hulu, so that wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah.
Now
I know it's on Disney Plus in like other countries because I've seen people talk about it.
Yeah.
But
well, and apparently there's been issues with them not just streaming but just getting DVDs out for the seasons. They have not released like the last 2 or 3 seasons on DVD.
I was gonna say
there's like an
it's still on Netflix.
There's some sort of issue with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's Hydra's fault.
Yeah.
Let's
just blame it on Hydra.
Did they ever get Agent Carter on DVD? Now that I think about it.
Ooh, I have no idea.
I have the first season on DVD, and then I tracked down an Australian Blu-ray version of both seasons, and have those.
Okay.
And those, at least the Australian versions, those were region free. So it worked with my Blu-ray player. Yeah. Because it's just like, it might not work. I'm just like, well, knowing the company that it came from, and I have some other regular DVD Australian sets from this production company, I'm just like, I know I'm in good hands.
Good to know.
Yep.
Good to know. So yeah, it's a weird thing with both Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter. I don't know. Well, nobody seems to know exactly what the issue is as far as DVDs and streaming. So
yeah,
somebody who gets paid way more money than me can figure that out.
Yes.
It's like, I would like to pay you guys money for these things. Why don't you make them available?
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe once Netflix's streaming deal with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is done, maybe it will move over to Disney Plus.
That was my first thought, because there was a bunch of things when Disney Plus first launched that they were still tied up over on Netflix, so they were waiting for those contracts to expire. But who knows?
Watch this space.
Exactly.
She also brings up an Easter egg that we did not bring up is, it's not in every episode, but there's several episodes where they are out in town, and the movie theater.
Oh, right.
Movies would change.
The titles would change.
And the movies would somewhat reflect what's happening in that particular episode, like the plots of the movies. And at one point, there's the Parent Trap and the Incredibles.
Yeah.
And when they have the big showdown against Agent Dickless, Dickface, and Agatha and all that, and the at one point you've got Wanda, Vision, and the boys, and it looks very much like the Incredibles family when they've banded together and they're like, posing, getting ready to fight. So
see, I saw that, and that was what clued me into what era of TV that was supposed to be, because like after the 80s 90s I kind of lost track. So I was like, oh, Incredibles came out in 2004, that's when this is set.
Yes.
But didn't Parent Trap come out in, well, there was 2 versions of Parent Trap.
The remake.
The remake, I guess, would have been I think around the same time, like maybe not the same year, but in that time
I think it was more 90s, because it was when Lindsay Lohan was young and hadn't gone off the rails.
98.
So
okay. Well, then I guess I was off. But I just saw Incredibles, like, oh, I know when that came out. It came out in 2004. Okay, I know where I am.
And that was, I remember that movie now. When that movie came out now.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was one Easter egg, that the constantly changing titles, era appropriate titles on the movie theater was one that there were so many Easter eggs. There was no way we could mention all of them.
I mean, I'm sure there's a website that enumerates all of them somewhere.
There's videos
or videos even, YouTubers saying, and there's this and there's this. So scour the interwebs. We highlighted what we could do, what we found. But if you want us to highlight one, send us feedback, like Shalane did.
Yes.
Yep. And then she had a question, and I'm not sure if I can answer, if I have the knowledge to answer this. But she had a question about TVs, especially sitcoms, being filmed in front of a live studio audience, because when she watches shows that, like
they have the laugh
Family
track.
Matters and stuff, and it's like, she's like, I just hear the same cheering and laughter in every
show. Okay,
but I know most of those Friday night ones were in front of a live studio audience.
In fact, when they did Fuller House, they made a big deal about how, hey, we've got a studio audience here, they're watching, and they would show like Candace Cameron Bure would put pictures up on Instagram and stuff. This is as I understand it. So back in like the Dick Van Dyke era and those older ones, they would have, some of those would have live audience, not all of them, I think, or I don't know. It was, but then they so when you have a studio audience, and the same thing, this applies to like game shows as well. Because you have an audience, and they're not, they don't follow the script. There's always going to be somebody calling, being kind of a dork and catcalling or whatever. So yes, while they film it in front of an audience, and that actually helps the actors, as I understand it, they will take out the sound from what they're doing, whatever it is they're doing, and then put in the canned laugh track. So yes, it is filmed in front of a studio audience, but because the sound that you get from them is so unpredictable, they have to take that out and put in, this is where they were laughing, but we don't want to risk someone yelling the F word and getting us in trouble with the FCC or something like that.
Yeah, right.
So that,
or if the audience doesn't laugh hard enough, when that joke deserves a stronger laugh or something.
Yes, so they can kind of, and that's as I understand it. I'm sure there's somebody who's like studied this, or studied the history of television and film and stuff, who can really go in depth. But that's like my cursory Wikipedia, YouTube documentary knowledge of the subject.
Yeah.
So yes, they were filmed in front of audiences. Yes, the canned laugh track is the same, and both can be true.
Yeah, the live audience is really there for the actors to feed off of that energy, and it's also the writers and stuff opportunity to see if jokes land or not.
Yes,
and they can do rewrites like right there and then. And a scene may be changed and filmed again.
Yeah. So it's not like, so if you're in that audience, it's not like watching a play where, they just go all the way through and they're done. They still like do different takes, and they, do edits or different things. So you're watching them perform it, but you may watch them perform it several times before they get
they might blow a line and they have to reset.
That too.
Yeah, like I've watched a lot of bloopers of like those film. I'm like, I wonder how that would be for like the audience watching them.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll have the audience there for dress rehearsals, not just filming. So it gives them a chance to try out material and see if stuff's actually funny and that sort of thing. So, because even Saturday Night Live is not really live.
I always like, I don't think this is live, guys.
No.
So when I was little and I didn't know any better, and now I'm like, okay.
They actually do their show twice, I believe. And they will change things between the first go round. Because they use that first one kind of as a dress rehearsal, make sure costume changes work in time and that sort of thing. But yeah, they will change jokes in between the first and second. The second time around is when they actually film it, and that's what we see gets aired at later in the evening on Saturdays. So yeah, the laugh track can be annoying sometimes, especially when it sounds exactly the same in every single show.
Yes. Well, I
totally get the frustration at hearing the same laughs over and over.
Yeah. Or, they're laughing so hard and you're like, I didn't think that was that funny.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, I can remember watching a little bit of a documentary with MASH. With some of the comedy, they had to be so careful with the laugh track to not go so hard because you might have a dramatic scene and then have a joke and you don't want to go overboard.
Right. Yeah.
That fine line between,
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and then they do have variations of it. There's like, one where you can quote unquote hear somebody like having a really obnoxious laugh about something and you're like, oh gosh, that was a little too much, guys, pull it back. So it's not a bad thing, it's just kind of like
yeah.
Anyway, so there's all you never wanted to know about sitcoms and laugh tracks.
Yes.
Not that we're experts, but there it is.
So hopefully that at least answered your question at least a little bit, Shalane. So
we try.
Yep. So but yeah, thanks for the feedback and the question. So we appreciate that very much. We love reading, but sometimes it's hard to find time to physically sit down with a book, which is why the Five-ish Fangirls has proudly partnered with Audible. Audible is a leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs. Whatever makes you squee, there's a perfect listen for you. Every month, members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals. Whether you're adventuring through time and space, running from dinosaurs, or capturing ghosts, with the free app, audiobooks go where you go. You can download titles and listen offline, anytime, anywhere. Even if you switch devices, you'll never lose your place. And right now, Five-ish Fangirls listeners can sign up for a free 30-day trial by going to audibletrial.com/5ishfangirls. That's 30 days to check out not only their huge collection of audiobooks, but also podcasts, guided wellness programs, theatrical performances, A-list comedy, and exclusive Audible originals you won't find anywhere else. So continue the joy of reading with Audible. Don't see a title that trips your trigger one month? No problem. Your credit will roll over to the next month, and you can quit anytime and keep the books you've acquired forever. For more details and to sign up for your free 30-day trial, visit audibletrial.com/5ishfangirls. That's audibletrial.com/5ishfangirls. And now, back to the podcast. And we will move on to this week's main topic. I know it hasn't been too long since we last did this, but considering how long last week's show was, we kind of wanted to scale back just a little bit. And go ahead
give your podcast app a reprieve.
Yes. Yeah, because these episodes tend to not go too long. It depends on whose name you're on.
And honestly,
and now watch, we get one that
yeah,
exactly.
Like this person's been acting for 50,000 years.
They are a vampire.
Yes. And they do. Yeah, they're in everything, and we love everything they've ever done. And
and this one's actually kind of fun because we don't do any prep. We just say, okay, here's the name, and off the top of your head. Now we do look up on Wikipedia because we're not that hardcore.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of like, okay, what have they been in? What have I seen this person in? And stuff. So it is kind of fun for us too. So hopefully it's fun for our listeners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then.
So names out of a hat, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So.
And Rachel gets to quiz us on
how well you know your celebrities.
Or how fast you can Google them.
Yeah. Well, and as soon as we say, I think we may have jinxed ourselves. Actually.
Darn it.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
We're okay.
Do we just have one tonight?
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, remember, it is a school night, and at least one of us has a 3-year-old that has to go to preschool in the morning.
Yep. So, okay. Well, this person, American.
Okay.
Born July 9th, 1956.
Okay.
Both has done a lot, both in comedy and drama. Their films have grossed more than $4.9 billion in North America alone and almost $10 billion worldwide, making him the 4th highest grossing actor in North America. He has 2 Academy Awards for Best Actor. He is oh my goodness. Yeah, 2 Academy Awards out of 6 nominations, 7 Primetime Emmy Awards, Tony Award nomination, AFI Lifetime Achievement Award, Kennedy Center Honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the French Legion of Honor.
I think I may have an idea.
I think I know who it is. Is it Tom Hanks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
AKA America's dad.
Yes. Started out in bosom buddies.
Yep.
And movie career launched.
Yes.
I know Andy's excited about Buzz, but you know, he'll always have a special place for you.
Yeah, like the attic.
All right, that's it.
Unidirectional bonding strip.
Mr. Lightyear wants more tape. Listen, Light Snack, you stay away from Andy. He's mine, and no one is taking him away from me.
What are you talking about?
Where's that bonding strip?
And another thing, stop with this spaceman thing. It's getting on my nerves.
Are you saying you want to lodge a complaint with Star Command?
Oh, okay. Ooh, well, so you want to do it the hard way, huh?
Don't even think about it, cowboy.
Oh, yeah? Tough guy?
The air isn't toxic. How dare you open a spaceman's helmet on an uncharted planet? My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
You actually think you're the Buzz Lightyear? Oh, all this time I thought it was an act. Hey, guys, look! It's the real Buzz Lightyear!
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, no. Buzz, look, an alien! Where? Ah!
Yeah, he's been active since 1977. So yeah, Thomas Jeffrey Hanks, born in Concord, California, to hospital worker Janet and cook Amos. So his mother was of Portuguese descent, and his father has English ancestry. He has 3. He's got 3 siblings, 2 older siblings, Sandra, who is a writer, Larry, who is an entomology professor at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and then Tom, and then a younger brother, Jim, who has also gone on to be an actor and filmmaker. So yeah, but he studied theater in college. And he apparently likes in a 2001 interview with sportscaster Bob Costas, he asked Hanks whether he would rather have an Oscar or a Heisman Trophy. Apparently, Hank said he would rather win a Heisman by playing halfback for the California Golden Bears.
Okay. Maybe it's one of those things. It's like, okay, I've done all the acting and stuff. You know, what's something you never really got to do?
Yeah,
and it's sports.
Yeah. So yeah, he went to study theater at Chabot College and then transferred to California State University, Sacramento. But apparently never really finished. So in actually 2010 Time Magazine, he was named one of the top 10 college dropouts.
Well,
yeah.
So where do you start with his
well,
I mean, given that I have the aforementioned 3-year-old is one of his favorite movies is Toy Story. Woody, Sheriff Woody.
Yeah.
Yep.
The voice
like,
of.
I'm pretty positive that's the first thing I've ever.
Yeah, honestly, because
Turner and Hooch.
Yes, that.
That one. That's
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
If you're talking film, probably the one that most people recognize him from first is Splash.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be another one.
Which was a huge hit. Because it was the first film. It was a big hit, but it was also the first. It's notable for being the first film released by Touchstone Pictures, which was a Disney offshoot label for them to release, more not cartoony, family friendly fare,
more grown up type stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but he actually, is one of his first credited roles was actually in a TV movie. Well, he did Bosom Buddies, but he also did a TV movie called Mazes and Monsters.
Huh.
Oh, okay. No. I know what this is.
I have not seen to do with Dungeons and Dragons.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it is. Okay.
It's the height of the D&D.
Oh my gosh!
Like
the satanic panic.
Yes.
So people in the 80s, they were just they thought that if you played D&D, you were like worshiping Satan because you're casting spells and everything. It's not. They never talked about it's just pretend.
I'm guessing that's gonna be kind of like.
Yeah, so it's I mean people who played D&D back then, they talk about it and I survived the satanic panic of 1980 whatever. And so this movie Mazes and Monsters, that was showing how horrible that
well, it was adapted from a novel.
Yes.
Goes by the same name. The novel was based on a bunch of newspaper stories that turned out to be extremely inaccurate about the disappearance of this student named James Dallas Egbert III, who disappeared from Michigan State University. And all the media accounts overemphasize the fact that he was into RPGs, and especially Dungeons and Dragons, and that may have been a factor into his disappearance.
Yeah, it is, and it is way over the top. I haven't seen it all the way through, but I've seen scenes because Jared's shown it to me. I think Jared actually owns a copy just because, or no, it might be something else. I don't know, but it's if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, you watch it to laugh at it.
Yeah.
And it is
it is ridiculous.
It is over the top ridiculous. If you've heard of Jack Chick, it's kind of in that same, Jack Chick was a pastor who was he would put out these little comic strips about the same thing of, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, so now I have to start worshiping Satan. In the matter of like two or three panels, they go from, I'm interested in this game to, drawing pentacles in the in the basement.
Yeah.
That's just it is so ridiculously over the top.
If you want to see it, it is available for streaming with ads via the Roku channel, Vudu, Tubi, I don't know what this is, FilmRise, and FlixFling. So
MST3K, it's just
like it's been covered. I believe that You're Gonna Love This or Not has done it. I don't remember. I think Colson McCavalcade covered it too during their run. So if you'd rather just listen to somebody else talk about it, you could do that too.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's.
We may have to watch it and review it at some point, though, especially now that we've all played D&D.
Yeah, and I'll get Jared if we do that. I'll get Jared on the episode. We'll figure out a way to do that because holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, I could sit here and giggle and laugh about it, but Jared will. Yeah, it'll be so entertaining if we ever talk about it.
Yeah. Then there was Bosom Buddies was like his first like TV series role
with Peter Scolari.
Yes, where they were two single men who can't find a place to live that they can afford, so they end up going like Some Like It Hot and dressing as women to go live in like a women's only like dormitory apartment
or building, boarding house or something.
A boarding house. And crazy shenanigans ensue because they're surrounded by a bunch of women and they think they're women, and they think some of the women are pretty and they can't do anything about it. So.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Now I can't. It sounds like
I'm sure you've seen images from it.
It's interesting.
Probably.
And the opening theme song was redone, but it's Billy Joel's "It's My Life."
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see some of the other ones. A League of Their Own. About the girl, the
There's
ladies
no crying in baseball.
Yeah. There's no crying in baseball. Let's see. Sleepless in Seattle. That's a classic. Forrest Gump. And I didn't realize Apollo 13 and Toy Story came out the same year, but they did.
You've Got Mail.
Yep, You've Got Mail. That Thing You Do. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
If you haven't seen that, watch it. It is just awesome.
And
Tom
be
Hanks
prepared.
helped write the music.
Yeah, and be prepared to be humming the song for like after you watched it. But it's a fun one.
Yep.
Every time.
Hey, Wolfman, thank you very much. You're a good man, Scott Pell. Give me a call later on the week. We'll do something.
Can't believe this.
The Wonders are in breach of contract.
Sorry. I'm really sorry, Mr. White.
Well, don't worry. No one's going to prison, son. It's a very common tale.
Well, maybe for you, but I was in a band and we still have a hit record.
Yeah, you do. One-hit wonders. It's a very common tale.
My first time in a real recording studio.
You want to hang around for a while? Okay by me. But you're out of the hotel this afternoon. Can't help that. You know, Guy, Horace was right about you. You are the smart one. Lenny is the fool. Jimmy is the talent. Faye is... Well, Tina Fey is special, isn't she? You are the smart one. That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, Philadelphia and Forrest Gump got him those back-to-back Best Actor Oscars because he won for Philadelphia and for Forrest Gump, and we will be covering Forrest Gump on Gold Standard. Eventually, we got a long ways to go before we get to 1994, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're not
For-
even in
Forrest
the 90s.
Gump-
You're not even close.
It's one that I'm like I watched it when I was young, and I was like, oh, like he's seeing all these historical things. And like my dad, we would talk about his history because my dad is a history junkie.
Yeah.
And so I know what that is. I know what that is. Then I got older, and then I realized like what Jenny was doing and and all that. Like, why did my dad let me watch this with him? I was like 10.
We'll be covering him again when we do Saving Private Ryan in 1998.
Good one too.
Forrest Gump.
Now, can you believe it? After only 5 years of playing football, I got a college degree.
Congratulations, son.
Mama was so proud.
Forrest, I'm so proud of you. Here, I'll hold this for you.
Congratulations, son. Have you given any thought to your future?
Thought? Hello, I'm Forrest Gump.
Nobody gives a husky shit who you are, pussball! You're not even a low-life scum-sucking maggot! Get your faggoty ass on the bus, you're in the army now! Seat's taken.
Take.
At first, it seemed like I made a mistake, seeing how it was only my induction day and I was already getting yelled at.
Sit down if you want to.
I didn't know who I might meet or what they might ask.
You ever been on a real shrimp boat?
No, but I've been on a real big boat.
I'm talking about a shrimp catching boat. I've been working on shrimp boats all my life. I started out on my uncle's boat, that's my mama's brother, when I was about maybe 9. I was just looking into buying a boat of my own and got drafted. My given name is Benjamin Buford Blue. People call me Bubba. Just like one of them old redneck boys. Can you believe that?
My name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump. So Bubba was from Bayou La Battery, Alabama, and his mama cooked shrimp. And her mama before her cooked shrimp. And her mama before her mama cooked shrimp, too. Bubba's family knew everything there was to know about the shrimping business.
I know everything there is to know about the shrimping business. Matter of fact, I'm going into the shrimping business for myself after I get out the army.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that he's done just, things from rom-coms, like Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail and, other movies like that, to, that thing you do, which is, fun, kind of campy, to very serious movies like Apollo 13 and Philadelphia and and he's just one of those actors that just can kind of do everything, and he's one of those leading men that you can put him into a lot of things and he fits right in because he's just your everyday looking man. He's
Right.
he's not ugly by many means. I mean, he's a good looking guy, but he's not like chiseled, like a Chris Hemsworth, or something where, he has a physique that really kind of shoehorns him into certain types of roles. Tom Hanks, he can just kind of give him give him costume, give him a script, and he can kind of do a little bit of everything. And obviously, if you look at his list, he's worked a lot with Steven Spielberg.
Yes. And look at Castaway. He was basically pretty much by himself.
Yep. Him and Wilson.
Film.
They're still making Wilson volleyball to this day. And that movie is, what, 20 years old?
Yep.
It's 20 years old. Holy cow.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorites is The Green Mile. I've always loved that movie. I don't know why. It's so good.
Stephen King adaptation.
Yep.
Yes. That's probably why.
So it's at least got a good story.
Yes.
To it. Even his version of the Polar Express, which is very kind of creepy animation.
Yeah. I mean, Polar Express is one of my favorite Christmas picture books ever. I cannot bring myself to watch the movie because it's
just the way they did it, because they did the motion capture, but it's not motion capture in the way that it's supposed to be realistic. It has a very uncanny valley look to it, which is disturbing.
Quite.
So, I mean, Tom Hanks is still good, but disturbing to look at.
Everybody.
Yeah.
You could just play it and just not look at the screen, and you'd maybe be fine.
I remember one time they had they this big Christmas festival down in Florida, and they had those big blow up movie screens. They have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they played that on, so it was this huge. I'm like, oh, that's kind of creepy seeing it huge like that.
Yeah. So. I mean, yeah. So he's been in some good stuff and some stuff that's little sketch.
Yeah, has anybody seen Cloud Atlas?
Nobody gets Cloud Atlas.
The people who have seen it don't get it.
Yes, exactly.
I wanted to see it because it sounded interesting and there's a lot of actors I love in it, but
it's just a hot mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because the Wachowskis were able to do The Matrix doesn't mean that they can do other things.
Yeah. If you've ever seen Jupiter Ascending, talk about something that's unintentionally funny. Anyway, that's beside the point. But so let's see. Back to Tom Hanks. What's he been doing?
Saving Mr. Banks.
Saving Mr. Banks, playing Walt Disney, which who else could play Walt Disney? But
honestly, okay, so when I first saw the trailer, I doubted. I was just like, okay, he looks like Tom Hanks with a mustache. That's it. But then I saw the movie and I was like, okay, you got me. You got it. I mean, he's not like a spitting image of Walt Disney, which he wasn't meant to be, but it was he got the mannerisms and the speech and all of that down. So I was like, okay, we're good. You got me. So
and then he turns around and does it again, playing Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're killing me, Hanks.
Yeah. Well, it's like he had a stretch there where he was playing, real people, like he had Sully,
Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
Captain Phillips. Yep.
Sully.
And Sully, and what else is there? No, Robert Langdon is not a real person.
No, the Pope.
Nope.
That's based on a true
Dan Brown novels.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's done a good job of playing real life people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the production company that he has on the side, man, have they done a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. If you have never seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which he produced,
oh my goodness.
you need to do yourself a favor and watch it. Yes, it's kind of a rom-com. Yes, it's a bit of a chick flick. It is so funny. It's more about your dysfunctional family, and just everybody has that kind of has elements of those family, or two very different families coming together. It's a movie. It's a movie about, it's a romance. It's also about families and family dynamics, and it is just, it's a good one. So please, if you see nothing else in your life, go watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
He also executive produced both of the Mamma Mia movies too. Which again, you watch those just because they're ridiculous. You watch them for the ABBA music. You don't watch the plot does not matter. You just watch it because you want to sing along with the cast. With all the ABBA music. So oh yes. So oh my goodness. Goodness. He has and he's still at it.
Yep.
He's got what coming up? At least according to the interwebs. He's got
Pinocchio,
where he's playing Geppetto, which again, duh.
Yeah. I say that fits. I can see that.
Yeah. Those are his producer credits. We want acting credits. Sorry. Apparently he's going to be playing Colonel Tom Parker in an Elvis Presley bio movie.
Interesting.
I think it's going to be along the same lines as like our Queen and Elton John movies that we've gotten recently, because it's being directed by Baz Luhrmann. So
well, there you go. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Hey, Colonel Tom Parker, he was a big part of Elvis's life. So
yes, he was.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. That's not due out till next June.
If all goes well.
Yes.
I feel like every time we talk about a film release, we're like, I have to put a little caveat on that.
Yeah. So
it doesn't even have a title yet.
Yeah.
So, it's on IMDb's Untitled Elvis Presley Project.
Yes.
Actually, kind of be an interesting meta title name. Where do they keep it?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean Tom Hanks. I mean, pick a decade and he's done a ton and been awarded all the things. Like I said,
Yeah.
2 Oscars. So much that he's been nominated and won for. And then his kids have kind of gone at Colin, his son, who is like the spitting image of him. Has gone on to be a just as a notable actor.
As soon as he stepped foot as guest star on NCIS, my mom's like, "Is that Tom Hanks' son?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah. So and then he and Rita Wilson have been together for ages. So, and they were some of the first people, like celebrities, to announce that they had tested positive for COVID, and early on in the pandemic last year, and you're like, no, you will not take Tom Hanks and Rita.
Right?
Exactly.
Leave them alone.
Yeah, they've been together since before I was born, which that is a long time, especially not to be mean, but especially for celebrities.
Celebrities,
exactly. Yes.
For normal people, it's like, oh yeah,
that's over 30 years. That's good. But for
a celebrity couple, I mean, that's really really good.
Yeah, they were in Australia filming the Elvis movie when it happened. So they were both admitted to the hospital for a while. That they were eventually released and got to go home to LA after being quarantined. Apparently, they donated their blood antibodies for virus research. So good.
Nice.
Very cool.
And This is in no way meant to be political, but apparently in 2004, while visiting and touring the White House, Hanks learned that the press corps, didn't have a dedicated coffee pot. So he donated an espresso machine.
Oh, wow.
And he's donated 2 more since then.
Nice. He's like probably a hero to them now.
Yeah. Yes. Like, I don't care where you stand politically. You just know that that's a job where you need to be awake.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
you up and working at crazy hours. You need to think straight.
Yeah, because news happens it all day, every day. So, and I think to no surprise at all, he's also a big supporter of the space program. Not just because he was in Apollo 13. He originally wanted to be an astronaut when he was a kid. He's a member of the National Space Society. Serving on the board of governors. So that's cool. And he's done he's helped produce some miniseries from the Earth to the Moon about the Apollo program. He's co-produced an IMAX film about the moon landings. He's done voiceovers for film at the Hayden Planetarium.
Cool. And then he also did something about the Beatles and their trip to America, if memory serves.
Yep. And I will put a link to the episode, hopefully, in the show notes if I remember, but you have to listen to his interview on Alan Alda's podcast from last year, a couple years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So, he talks a lot about, again, this is Tom Hanks. He's America's dad, so he does very dad things. He is a huge fan of typewriters. And collects them and uses them.
So
on a regular basis. If you were to get mail from Tom Hanks, more than likely it would be typed out on a typewriter.
So he actually wrote. That reminded me. He wrote a book that's like, I can't remember what it's called now.
Uncommon Type.
That one, yes. And on the cover there is a typewriter, and it even says in the description, because that book was on hold a lot at the library when it first came out. And so I saw it a lot. And I was like, oh my gosh, he writes on a typewriter. What is this man anyway? What are you?
He is America's dad, and he does dad things. Like, collects and uses typewriters.
So there you go.
Yeah. And there's even I think he's at, there's an app. Yeah, in 2014, he released Hanks Writer, so HANX Writer. It's an app meant to emulate the experience of using a typewriter.
All right,
that's how much he loves.
You gotta have your
typewriters.
Hobbies.
Yes, yeah, he is America's dad. That's all there is to it.
Right,
So.
like that is definitely something.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before we get to talk about him on Gold Standard, unless somebody requests something besides Forrest Gump or Saving Private Ryan. But yeah.
Ooh, I might just have to request one.
Yeah.
Request Splash.
Oh yes, yes, and of course we as. Before I draw another name, we can't talk about Tom Hanks and not mention David S. Pumpkins. Any questions? It's like, and David S. Pumpkins is his own thing.
I'm David Pumpkins.
I know, but like,
who are you?
I'm David Pumpkins, man!
Okay, yeah, and David Pumpkins is...
his own thing!
And the skeletons are...
part of it! Why are you a part of this ride?
To do this! What's my name?
David S. Pumpkins!
Any questions?
Yes! Several! I mean, what, he has the middle initial now? I am so in the weeds with David Pumpkins!
Babe, don't let David Pumpkins ruin your night.
Oh my goodness. Best Halloween skit ever. So dope. I dropped it. There we go. I can't read it if I drop it.
You're not psychic? You can't read?
Yeah.
You can't look through the paper and, X-ray vision it?
Yeah, no, sorry. Not so much. Oh, yes, and he's also in the quote-unquote Hall of Fame at Saturday Night Live. He has hosted 10 times. One of few people that is in double digits for hosting. So, anyway, moving on to our next person. Oh, this should be fun. Hold on, let me pull up. Let me pull up this person so I get the clues correct. So this actress is English, is a comedian and dramatic performer, born the 5th of December, 1969. She too is an award winner for several things that she's done. Born in Bloomsbury and raised in the Brunswick Center. Her mother was a florist. She did not know her father, as apparently he took off when she was very, very young. So she ended up being cared for by her mother, grandmother, and godparents.
So dramatic and comedy.
Let's see what else.
Let's see. That one's too young.
She's won. Obviously, she's a Brit, so she's won a lot of British awards,
BAFTAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, British Comedy Award, National Television Award, an International Emmy, BAFTA for TV. So yeah, she's more known for TV than film.
Okay.
Looking at her filmography, there's nothing there that I've seen. Actually, I know her most from TV. More than anything. So, both appearing in person and doing some voice acting.
Is it Catherine Tate?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Because I was like, well, first Coleman. Like, but no, yes, it is Catherine Tate.
Yes, Donna, you would know.
Yes.
I'm going to say my favorite companion of New Who.
Yes.
Down. In fact, the funny thing about Donna, because when I was watching Doctor Who for the first time, and binging through everything that had been up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
You see her in Runaway Bride, and you're like, okay, I hate you because
immediately
right? I watched it right after the whole thing with Rose and Bad Wolf
So
and
did
all that, and I'm just like, I hate my life. And I'm like, so anybody that I would have seen after that, I'd have been like, I hate you. And then, then I watched through the season with Martha, and Martha was great, and I loved her. And then it's like, oh, it's you. Oh, okay, well, I'll watch it anyway. And no, you just fall in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She's
not as screechy as she starts out to be.
No, and it's just, and the fact
what
that
really sold
she
me was,
go ahead.
That she was searching for the doctor after the first adventure, and that whole mime scene.
Oh yeah, Partners in Crime.
That just, and it's like, okay.
Well, and it's like she and David Tennant are just bouncing off each other, and it's like that was like the perfect,
I'm not mating with you, sunshine.
I'm not mating with you, sunshine. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But then if you think, well, she's good with David Tennant, but you got to listen to her Big Finish Donna Noble.
Yes.
One where it's just her, and she kind of has a little companion of her own, because it's like it takes place between. She's still traveling with the doctor, obviously, because what happens at the end. But the doctor leaves her at home to kind of talk with her mom and deal with some stuff there, and she ends up on this big adventure, and she has a bit of an adventure with that, and it's just so, and it's great. I mean, it's Donna, and oh my gosh, she's wonderful, and I was so sad because she came to FanX the year that Alex was born. It was like right after he was born, and we weren't gonna go because I just had a baby, and I was not taking my child into. But she came. Yeah, but she came that year, and I could not, and I wanted to get an autograph, but I couldn't find anyone to get it for me. Oh, I was there, but anyway, but oh gosh, she's wonderful. I love her in all her stuff. If you ever see the clips of with her Nan character, or
Lauren Cooper.
Lauren
Am I bothered?
Yes.
Look at my face. Is my face bothered?
Yep.
Yes. I mean, that's just her using bothered so much that bothered ended up in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so funny though, because it's like I like you, I watched Doctor Who and got introduced to Donna and the Runaway Bride, and then she comes back after Martha leaves, and they weren't originally going to bring her back. If you've read Russell T Davies' book, he had an idea for a completely different companion after Martha, and just could not get it off the ground, so that they ended up bringing Donna back. Which
Catherine, she said well, can I come back and do it again? And he was like, why don't you come be the companion?
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh my goodness, her and David Tennant's doctor are just the best combination.
They are so much fun, and they're best friends. I mean, and they make a point to be like, oh yeah, we're not a couple ever, and it's like it could have been this old and tired gag, but they made it funny.
Shh! No one knows we're here. Gotta keep quiet. Silent running, like on submarines when they can't even drop a spanner. Don't drop a spanner. I like Blue. What do you think?
You are bonkers.
Why? What's wrong with Blue?
Is that what Time Lords do? Lop a bit off, grow another one. You like worms?
No. I'm unique. Never been another like me. Because all that regeneration energy went into the hand. Look at my hand. I love that hand. But then you touched it. Wham! Shh! Instantaneous biological meta-crisis. I grew out of you. Still could be worse.
Oi, watch it, Spaceman.
Oi, watch it, Earth Girl. Ooh. I sound like you. I sound all sort of rough.
Oi!
Oi! Spanners, shh! I must have picked up a bit of your voice, that's all. Is it? Did I? No. Oh. You are kidding me. No way. One heart. Oh, one heart. This body has got only one heart.
Well, like you're human.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oi!
Oi!
Stop it!
No, wait. I'm part-time Lord, part human. Well, isn't that wizard?
I kept hearing that noise. That heartbeat.
Oh, that was me. My single heart. Because I'm a complicated event in time and space must have rippled back, converging on you.
But why me?
Because you're special.
Oh, I keep telling you, I'm not.
No, but you are. Oh. You really don't believe that, do you? I can see, Donna, what you're thinking. All that attitude, all that lip, because all this time, you think you're not worth it.
Stop it.
Shouting at the world because no one's listening. Well, why should they?
Doctor, stop it.
But look at what you did. No. It's more than that, it's like... We were always heading for this. You came to the TARDIS. And you found me again. Your granddad, your car. Donna, your car. You parked your car right where the TARDIS was going to land. That's no coincidence at all. We've been blind. Something's been drawing us together for such a long time.
But you're talking like destiny. There's no such thing. Is there?
Still not finished. It's like the pattern's not complete. The strands are still drawing together. But heading for what?
And
yes.
And you just it's just so great. And if you haven't got a chance to see her and David in Much Ado About Nothing,
it's so good.
Watch it. So they get to be a couple, but they hate each other in the beginning. Oh, that's one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, and having those two play Benedict and Beatrice is just like it's gold.
You just put those two together in anything. Like I think it was Red Nose Day, where he the skit in and he's the teacher and she thinks he's the doctor and she's playing and
Sorry, are you talking Scottish now?
No, I'm talking English.
Right. Don't sound like it.
Okay, whatever you want. Now, let's get on with Shakespeare.
I don't think you're qualified to teach us English.
I am perfectly qualified to teach English.
I don't think you are, though.
You don't have to be English to teach it.
Right. Have we got double English or double Scottish?
Is your name Lauren Cooper, by any chance?
Yeah. Why?
Your reputation precedes you.
Any day.
So, Shakespeare's sonnets.
Sir?
A sonnet is a poem.
Sir?
Written in 14 lines, the last two of which must form a rhyming couplet.
Sir?
Yes, Lauren?
Can I ask you a question?
Not just now.
Can I ask you a question, though?
Just wait.
But can I just ask you a question? I only want to ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? I'm just asking you a question. Can I ask you a question?
What is it?
Are you the doctor?
Doctor Who? I don't know what you're talking about.
You look like Doctor Who, though.
I'm not Doctor Who, I'm your English teacher.
I don't think you are, though.
Lauren.
I think you're a 945-year-old Time Lord.
Listen.
Did you just pitch up from Mars?
Don't be ridiculous.
You know your house, right?
What?
You know your house?
Yeah.
Is it bigger on the inside?
Be quiet.
If you park the TARDIS on a meter.
Oh. Can we please get back to Shakespeare? Thank you. So...
Do you fancy Billy Piper, sir?
Right. You are the most insolent child I've ever had the misfortune to teach.
Thank you.
You're pointless, repetitious, and extremely dull.
Bit like Shakespeare.
You're not even worthy to mention his name. William Shakespeare was a genius. You, little madam, are definitely not. Now just sit there, keep your mouth shut, or I will fail you in this whole module right now.
I missed I bothered. I missed. I bothered, forsooth.
Lauren.
Looketh at my face.
I don't...
Looketh at my face.
Stop it.
Is this the bothered face that sees before thee?
Right, I'm calling your parents.
Are you disrespecting the house of Cooper? Art thou calling my mother a pox-ridden wench?
Enough.
Art thou calling my father a goodly rotten apple?
Lauren.
But he ain't even a goodly rotten apple.
Listen to me.
But he ain't even a goodly rotten apple,
That's
though.
enough.
Face it.
Lauren.
Bothered.
Lauren,
Look it.
enough.
Look it.
Stop.
My
That's
liege,
it.
my liege,
Enough.
my
Stop.
liege, my liege.
Shush. Enough.
Bothered. Face
Enough.
it. Bothered. You take the high road and I'll take the low road. I ain't even bothered. I ain't even bothered, my liege. I be not bothered. Forsooth, I be not bothered. Face bothered, I ain't even bothered. Face bothered. Shakespeare's sonnets, I ain't even bothered. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hair be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damask red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfume is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music have a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she belies with false compare. Bite me, alien boy!
Yep. Oh, and then even further, she's playing Magica Dispel in the DuckTales reboot.
Yep.
David Tennant's playing
David Tennant playing Scrooge McDuck.
Okay, I certainly really want a show or a movie with David Tennant, Catherine Tate, and Michael Sheen.
Yes.
She needs to come on.
She needs to be on Staged. They need to
Yeah,
bring
I
her
like
to Staged. We need a third season of Staged, and there you go.
There you go. But,
so, did you guys ever watch her when she was on the last couple seasons of The Office?
I saw a few episodes because I'd heard that she was going to be on it, and I never really watched the Office much.
I did not recognize her because she lost a lot of weight,
and her American accent. Well, no.
No, she keeps her accent on The Office.
That's right. That's right.
She's a transfer, so
that's right. Okay,
but yeah, she lost a lot of weight from the end of her time on Doctor Who to being on The Office, and it was wild because it's like she looks familiar, she kind of sounds familiar. It's like, who is this? And I'm like, oh my god, it's Catherine Tate.
Yeah, because I'd heard that she was going to be in it, and I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And it was, I mean, it took me a while to get used to the humor because I really hadn't been watching it, but yeah, I mean, she was really fun in that. That was a great one.
Yeah. So
yeah, she's very talented.
Yeah, she's absolutely hilarious. It's yeah. I mean, when you think of comedy, unfortunately, you don't tend to think of women, except for at least not as many as you would men. But yeah, she's totally up there as far as extremely talented comedian. I mean, obviously, as we saw her in Doctor Who, she's also very good at being, serious and dramatic.
Yes,
but it
Slice of Pompeii is one of my all-time favorite episodes.
Yes, yeah, and it seems like her talent it comes naturally. Like you don't really have to dwell on, she's a female comedian, or she's a woman in comedy. It's like she is, but it's like I'm not explaining myself very well, but it's like you don't really need that qualifier so much because she just commands. She has the talent and she commands respect, and and people give it to her, and rightly deserved, of course. Yeah, she's wonderful. I cannot gush about her enough. I mean, and yes, she does the dramatic stuff too, but it's not like this. Sometimes you have comedy actors and actresses like, oh, now I have to be super overly dramatic so I can be taken seriously. It comes naturally to her, but either way she can do it. And you don't have to make it, it's not flashy, but it doesn't need to be, and it's just as impactful as anything that a primarily dramatic actor would do. So it's like she needs to be in a lot more things. She just does, because I need to see her in a lot more things. Although I guess she did. She brought back Lauren Cooper for a telethon last year for the pandemic.
Yeah.
And she was, doing the
she's
learning with David Tennant.
David Tennant as her teacher again.
I know. I'm like, yeah, David
remember
Tennant
that,
keeps coming up in her thing, but they work so well together.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
there's
there's a reason when they brought back the 10th Doctor in Big Finish. Who's the first companion they brought back? Not Rose,
Donna, right?
Donna.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. But she does really well in audio. So like I said, grab her Big Finish stuff because and DuckTales she was really good and yeah,
she's I love her.
Have you guys seen back I think like the end of Russell T Davies era of Doctor Who, the Ballad of Russell and Julie?
Oh yeah.
She plays Julie and David Tennant's Russell. They do like a song and
honestly, and this is no disrespect to David, but I think she was a better Julie than David was Russell T. Just because I don't know, I just kind of bought her Julie more than I bought his Russell. And that's not a dig against David because he was still funny, but if I had to pick.
Good times. And hopefully now that we're getting back into doing conventions, maybe hopefully I'll get to meet Catherine sooner rather than
I'm
later.
just like, please come back because I missed you the first time you came to town. And I had a baby. I've
never met
excuse.
her. She hasn't come near me yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she hasn't done much conventions, but there was like just one year that year 2017 she was just kind of getting back into it or getting into it, and she was just showing up at random places, and just happened to be that year I had a baby and couldn't go to the con.
Yeah.
So but it's all good.
All right. Good times. So, well, that's two good ones. Do we want to stick with that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid for an episode.
Yeah,
that's a good pair.
Yep.
Yes.
So anyway, so if
we
any
ain't
of our,
bothered.
Yes. So if any of our listeners want to chime in on their favorite Tom Hanks and/or Catherine Tate moments, roles, whatever, or just anything we've talked about really on this episode, drop us a line at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. And also visit our website, which is the5ishfangirls.com. And so you can find links to all of our social media stuff, to our YouTube channel. And you can leave comments, feedback on like Facebook and wherever. You can also find links to where you can download the podcast, which is pretty much anywhere you find podcasts. There we are. And also find where you can support the podcast. We have Patreon, we have an Amazon store, and an Audible affiliate link. And we have merchandise as well. So check that out. And thank you always for your support, for your comments, for your feedback, just for listening, and hope you enjoy the show. And we're still here producing it, doing what we do. And everybody, please stay safe and please stay healthy and happy and all good things wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Because we love you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Well, on that note, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany and Tori saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Wilson! Now where's my Oscar?
listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at thefivishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/5ishfangirlspodcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official Five-ish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/5ishfangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/5ishfangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.